The lie has been holding everything together. What happens when it falls apart? That is the question at the center of Reigen's story. Because when most people tell small lies, they tell them like shortcuts, something harmless, something temporary, something that gets you through the moment, and nothing more. But Mob Psycho 100 asks a much more uncomfortable question. What if the lie becomes the foundation? What if everything you've built, your career, your identity, your one real relationship, is sitting on top of something that was never true? Reigen walks into every situation with the energy of a man who has already solved it. He never hesitates. He never qualifies. When a client comes in complaining about a ghost, he doesn't say, let me think about that. He immediately names the problem, usually something made up, and immediately prescribes the solution, usually a massage. The anime actually makes a deliberate visual choice here that the director leaned into. Reigen's fake exorcisms are animated with the same spectacular, high frame rate fluidity as Mob's real psychic powers. When Reigen throws salt at something, it looks impressive. When he does his 100% spiritual energy palm strike, which is just a shoulder rub, it's rendered with the visual weight of a finishing move. That's not an accident. That's the show telling you exactly who Reigen is. A man whose confidence is so total, so committed, that it functions as its own kind of power. He doesn't just act like an expert. He performs expertise so convincingly that clients leave feeling better. He reframes their anxieties as supernatural problems with concrete solutions and then provides the solution. The salt does nothing for the ghost. The massage does something for the person. Showing up every day and acting like you know what you're doing, even when you don't, is how a lot of people build something real. But Reigen has pushed that to its absolute limit because he's not just performing competence. He's performing a self that doesn't exist. Reigen is a fraud. He found Mob when Mob was just a kid. This small, overpowered, emotionally suppressed middle schooler who desperately needed a mentor. And Reigen told him he was a psychic. He said it with total conviction. And Mob, who was lonely and confused and looking for someone to trust, believed him. So Reigen built his entire business on Mob's powers. He pays Mob 300 yen an hour, an almost offensive wage, to do the actual supernatural work, while Reigen takes the credit, sets the prices, and delivers the confident speeches. He has no problem lying to clients, no problem lying to enemies. He'll lie to spirits if it helps. He is manipulative, he is calculating, and he does it all with such casual ease that you can almost miss how dark it is underneath the comedy. But here's what makes Reigen interesting, instead of just terrible. He's not delusional. He knows exactly what he is. There's no moment in Mob Psycho 100 where Reigen sincerely believes he has powers. He's not lying to himself. He's lying to everyone else with full awareness of the gap between the person he presents and the person he actually is. That gap between who you project and who you are is something adults know intimately. Most of the time, the lies aren't malicious. They're survival. They're scaffolding. They're what you build to hold yourself up while you figure out the real structure underneath. Reigen's lies are the same way, at least at first. He needed clients. He needed income. He needed a reason to exist. And then Mob walked in and gave him something to actually do. The problem with performing a self that doesn't exist is that the performance has to be maintained constantly. Every new client is a new chance to be found out. Every new situation where genuine psychic ability would be required, where the actual supernatural shows up and can't be massaged away, is a crisis Reigen has to improvise through. And he always does. He is an extraordinary improviser. But the longer it goes, the more elaborate the scaffolding becomes. He can't admit to anyone that he has no powers, because if Mob finds out, Mob may leave. And Reigen needs Mob, not just professionally, but as the only meaningful relationship in his life. Because here's the other thing about Reigen. He's alone. He has no friends. Not really. The anime is pretty direct about this. His social world is his office, his clients, and Mob. That's it. Which means that everything, his income, his identity, his sense of purpose, is one genuine connection. All of it rests on the same lie. That's how webs of lies work. You don't build them on purpose. Like and ring the bell if you're enjoying the video. You build one small lie by one, and then another to protect it, and then another. And suddenly, you're living inside a structure you built to survive, and now can't escape. Season 2 of Mob Psycho 100 does something genuinely brutal to Reigen. After he says something careless that hurts Mob, Mob takes a break from the agency. And without Mob, Reigen has no way to actually do his job. So he starts overextending, taking on cases he can't handle, saying yes to things he has no business attempting. He ends up accepting an invitation to appear on a TV show about psychics. It's a trap. The entire appearance is staged to expose him as a fraud and humiliate him on national television. And it works. Reigen is revealed. His clients form an online group called Reigen's Victims. Reporters hunt him down. His reputation is destroyed. Everything he built out of confidence and salt and sheer performative nerve collapses in public, all at once. He has to hold a press conference. And in this moment, backed into a corner, alone, the entire illusion stripped away, Reigen does the only thing he knows how to do. He keeps performing. He tells the reporters they can't prove he's not a psychic. He mocks them. He deflects. It's both impressive and heartbreaking, because you can see what's underneath it now. Not a con man enjoying the game. A person who has no idea who he is without the performance. A person who built a self out of lies, and then one day had to stand in front of the world with nothing left to hide behind. A lot of adults have a version of this moment. Maybe not on national television, but the job falls through, or the relationship ends, or someone asks a question you can't answer. And suddenly, the distance between who you've been performing and who you actually are becomes very visible. It's terrifying. And it's also sometimes the only way forward. If you're new here, subscribe. Thank you. Mob shows up. Not because Reigen deserves it. Not because Mob has fully forgiven him. But because Mob, who has absorbed every piece of advice Reigen has ever given him, about kindness, about not using your power to hurt others, about what actually makes a person worth something, decides that Reigen is still worth something. And Reigen, standing in front of those reporters, finds his actual voice for the first time. He stops deflecting. He apologizes, not to the press, to Mob, in public. He talks about how much Mob has grown, how much Mob has taught him, how the kid he hired as a tool became the person who gave his life actual meaning. It is, objectively, the most emotionally vulnerable thing Reigen has done in the entire series. And he does it in front of cameras, with nothing to gain from it professionally, because it's simply true. This is what getting caught in your own lie can do, if you're lucky. It can strip away the performance long enough for the real thing to surface. And the real thing, the actual Reigen, underneath all the confidence and salt and manipulation, turns out to be someone who genuinely cares. Someone who tried, imperfectly and dishonestly, to be useful. Someone who, despite being a fraud in every technical sense, actually helped people. The clients who come to Reigen are not being served nothing. Yes, the supernatural diagnosis is fake, but Reigen actually listens to them. He takes their problems seriously, even when those problems are the result of paranoia or loneliness or stress that has nowhere to go. He gives them massages that relieve real physical tension. He tells them their problem has been solved, and because they believe him, they leave lighter. Is it ethical? No, not really. He's charging money for services under false pretenses. But is it useless? Also no. The clients leave help, not because the salt did anything, but because someone showed up and acted like their problem mattered, and then did something about it. A lot of what we call help works this way. The confidence of the person helping you is part of the medicine. And beyond the clients, there's Mob. Reigen has no psychic powers, but he has something Mob desperately needed. A framework for understanding what his powers are for. Reigen tells Mob over and over that powers don't make you better than other people. That kindness matters more than strength. That the goal isn't to win, it's to understand. This advice comes from a con man with no powers, and it is consistently, genuinely correct. And it shapes Mob into one of the most emotionally mature characters in the series. Reigen didn't earn the right to give that advice through achievement. He earned it through having thought hard about what actually matters. So here's what I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Is Reigen actually a good person? Or does the lying cancel out everything else he does right?